What is up, guys? It's your host with the moist voice, and we're back for another carnivore top 5 carnivore question video. I'm getting still questions after 3 months of carnivore, and the update video will be out shortly of just the progress of how we're doing. And as you can see already, the face is less bloated since video 1, and we're back at the library. Different room, as you can see, very big space. It's the innovation room at the library. So they're fortunate and nice enough to give me some space, a little quiet space over here when everything is taken, even on a nice rainy day. But also, let's answer some questions. Hopefully this remains shorter than 10 minutes, but I definitely want to get these questions out of the way, and hopefully answer any one of your concerns. So, is all you eat meat? I get this all the time whenever especially for my hairstylist. I see her at least once, maybe once a month, maybe, just to get a nice trim. And I told her about the carnivore ever since day one. She flatters me by saying, you're looking good, looking fresh to death. So it's always a compliment. It's always nice to hear that, especially going from 230 to 200. You kind of get and this also goes to another question, energy levels. So you get a bunch of energy for just obviously losing that weight. So is all I eat meat? Relatively speaking, no, because I do eggs and coffee. Other than that, all meat. So there is a couple things that I vary within the diet: Slim Jims, jerky, eggs, cheese. I'm getting back into cheese. So everyone knows I'm lactose intolerant, but luckily on this diet, carnivore diet, I don't know if it's a whole gut reset, but cheese isn't too bad nowadays, especially prior. And I don't want to get too much into the gut situation because I know a lot of carnivores like to talk about their poop, but I don't want to get too much into that. But is all you eat meat? Yes. Like, yes and no, because there's eggs, animal products, milk, lactose free milk. I'm kind of, it's good, but it's also calories in a cup. So I don't want to really, I still want to lose weight. So we're still going with steak and eggs every single day. So steak and eggs kind of varies. Can it help with cognitive function? So this goes back to the podcast I mentioned with Dr. Sean Baker, who coined the carnivore diet in his book. And literally, yes, I think yes, because not only when I sobered up from marijuana, my mental cognitive function was more concise, more open, more the grass was greener, everything was just processing faster. But also when you look at your brain, what does it need in order to function? And simple carbohydrates or carbohydrates in this American diet is just not cutting it. And especially with all this mental health era going on, it's like this carnivore diet might be the answer to proper cognitive functions for the brain. So for me, at least, yes, it definitely does clear up the mind. It's more satiating. So if you do believe in the micro gut biome and the gut to brain track, then why not feed it flesh and have the brain is just a whole muscle of neurons and intertwinable muscles, you know what I mean? So your muscles need protein, and so if we know that a brain is a muscle, why not feed it some meat? That's a lot of protein. So no carbohydrates whatsoever. The only carbs I suppose I get would probably be from the Slim Jims because they contain a bit of sugar, but not no simple carbs or anything like that. So I guess you could say I'm 98% carnivore, just because of that variable 2 to 1% of other stuff that I eat. The wine has a lot of carbs. So I do drink wine. We talked about alcohol consumption in the last video. If you guys want to tap into that and what it does and what can you have on a carnivore diet. So I said wine would probably be, at least dry wine. It's still grapes, it's still carbohydrates, but it's also not the simple, bread carbohydrates that your body really doesn't need or know what to do with. So does it help with cognitive function? I say yes, research needs to be done But I do say yes. What subs do you take? What kind of supplements do you take? So this is another question I get whenever I get asked how the carnivore diet is going. And vitamin D. Research is out, the papers are due about vitamin D and how helpful it actually is. And when you think about the average 9 to 5 in this day and age, you're indoors all the time. I mean, we're doing a video indoors, and imagine if, you are indoors 24/7 with no lighting whatsoever, lighting from the natural sun. When we mean vitamin D, we get it from the sun. And so if we know that the skin has so many pores, and this goes back to getting a relaxation day on my podcast. You guys can check that out, about just going to the hot tub or just going inside the pool. Something about it is very, very refreshing. A steam rather than a sauna. You know what I mean? Like what you put out, you kind of want back in. And so water, we're 78, 70, 80%, damn near 70% water. So you would think that, we want to stay hydrated, not only through consumption, but also through these pores of our porous skin. And so I'm a big advocate on hydrotherapy, if you will, just baths, just soaking in some water. That it's like your body's like a sponge. It still has those pores, and so hot water opens them up, cold water closes them down. So a nice, just look up hydrotherapy, I guess you could say, with all this going on, and self-care. So not only am I carnivore, but I also want to have a longevity with this body I've been, given. So vitamin D, I feel like, is another vitamin that is very necessary, because not a lot of people get a lot of sun. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate to go to the Indian, the keeper next to the river, and just take a nice walk while there's sun out. But other than that, vitamin D is all I take now. Beginning the carnivore questions, I said I took a multivitamin to cover my ones and twos. I don't anymore, honest to God. So we're getting somewhere. But also the other quote unquote supplements I take are electrolytes. So Body Armor Sugar Free is a very, very good one that I actually compared and contrast between Pedialyte, between a liquid IV. Body Armor has a new IV drink, but it has so much sugar to where I just couldn't even fathom drinking a bottle of that. But the sugar-free Body Armor, comparing it to the Great Value electrolyte mix that I used to buy, way, way, way better. Way better. And that goes into another question, or segues to the question of energy levels. So as long, and I'm not even as long, sometimes I miss days where I drink a Body Armor, but the meat is still processing, still keeping me satiated and giving me that energy that I need to go throughout my day. I don't feel as tired as I used to, but I can say that driving a lot, door dashing, doing all these gig drivings, deliveries, I do get fatigued, but not necessarily tired, because there's days where I can go all day. But if I dash from like 7 to 12 or maybe 2 o'clock, where I'm on the road all day and don't take a break, I'm going to want to take a nap. So I guess you could say that's work-life balance, finding a nice little medium in there. And so it comes to our final question, and also I wanted to make this be a little shorter than 10 minutes, but we're not going to do that this time around, guys. I'm sorry, not sorry. How long are you doing it for, or have you been doing it? Okay, how long are you doing it for, and how long have you been doing it for? So 3 months. I did try it out a couple years ago, whenever I did watch the first 2017 podcast with Dr. Sean Baker and Joe Rogan, and I actually tapped into that prior, about maybe a week ago. So much more information. I actually attest and want to implore you guys to go and check that first podcast out, because it is a wide plethora of information that you guys, if you are curious on carnivore, has more carnivore questions answered than the second podcast that Joe Rogan did with Sean Baker. And subscribe to Sean Baker on YouTube. He's always putting out new content, and also just studies that come out that aren't really valid or carry any validity to their quote unquote science. behind what to eat. But as far as the question goes, how long are you doing it for? Ever. Forever. And how long have I been doing it for? 3 months. And I think it is by far the best diet I can ever. I mean, going from 230 to 200, energies are skyrocketed. Cognitive function is, I'm doing better in school. When the statistics show that my reading score, writing score shoots up 30 from last year, that's gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to take note of that and get it into the sciences. But anyways, guys, we're over 10 minutes, so I just wanted to get this quick top 5 more carnivore questions for you guys. And if you're ever curious on my progress, go to my TikTok, which is at Mattern Chicano. Go to you're already at the YouTube, but also the podcast itself on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever other podcasts are. So anyways, guys, that's it for today. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next top 5.